So what's the problem?
Susan's been arrested for drugs this morning at the airport.
What? In jail? What the hell are you talking about? Why?
Second class cinema. Second class cinema.
Hello and welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and then immediately discuss it.
He's Tom.
My name's Tom. I'm here with Brittany and Eric.
Hi.
How's it going, guys?
I'm doing pretty good.
And you're unhappy.
You can tell by the tone of my voice that I did not necessarily get along with the movie we watched earlier, which was 1991's The Last Match. And this was Eric's selection. Why don't you tell me why you did this to me?
I apologize. I didn't know. Okay, well, a friend of mine who will remain anonymous suggested this movie to me by describing it as the plot to take and accept Liam Neeson calls in Ernest Borgnine and his football team. And then showed me a brief clip and the poster to this movie, which features a bunch of dudes in football uniforms with machine guns. And that's all I needed to know before I got invested in this.
Yeah. No, and that rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
You told me that, and I very clearly I was game based on all of that information. So let's hear what this movie was about.
All right. So the quarterback of the team that we don't know the name of.
I believe it's Cliff.
Cliff. Okay.
So
No, I mean, we
says-
don't know the team name.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. This movie is allergic to naming stuff, as we're going to find out. But his daughter is vacationing somewhere in South America in a country that is not named. And some mischievous scamp plants drugs in her bags. And she gets detained by the airport security. And she is sent to some sort of South American prison. About 50 minutes later, her father, with his team and Ernest Borgnine as the coach, attempt to bail her out of the South American prison with the use of machine guns and grenades.
That's a beautiful summary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That did it. And it actually doesn't sound that bad.
No, it doesn't.
But that's literally all that happens
But-
in this movie.
That was it.
You'll notice the phrase 50 minutes later.
Yeah.
3 key words that make this movie a horrible slog.
And you can even say that it's, an hour and 10 minutes later that they actually start to do anything. This is just that's being gracious to this movie is
Yeah.
giving it 50 minutes to unfold at least a little bit. I'm going to give it more than an hour that
Yeah.
it takes to actually do something.
For sure.
So do we want to kick it off with some failure?
Let's do it. Let's do it. What do you?
Since it's staring us in the face.
Yeah, let's go with it.
I actually didn't write down anything in context to successes or failures because...
Why would you bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, how about we start with the pacing since we're on that topic right
Yeah,
now?
okay. So we're going to be all right. Totally agree. The pacing sucked.
Terrible. Something that we've referenced a number of times is that movies like this tend to at least start with a bang and go out with a bang. And that leaves you with a pretty favorable impression on both sides of it, even if the middle was really boring. This starts with a football game, and not a particularly well shot one.
Yeah, that made me very annoyed. Was okay. You've got this. I mean, I don't know if they had a stadium. I mean, for this shoot, they had booked a stadium and filled it with people and got football teams and did stuff and shot stuff.
Yep.
At this stadium, maybe. I don't know if it was stock footage. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I couldn't tell. But they had an opportunity to make it look really nice and at least get us hooked.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Introduce us to a couple of the players, make us interested in what they're doing. No, they don't really bother doing anything with the time. And just throughout the movie, there's tons of issues where there's just footage of people walking places, people driving places. There's a fucking 5-minute section where a guy's making phone calls and getting answering machines.
Yeah, like people having phone conversations and you don't know who, you kind of know who one of the people are and then you have no idea who the other person is at all.
Because none of them have any names.
They don't introduce anyone in this movie.
Yeah, I'm struggling to find what this movie cared about. Like, what did it care about?
Nothing.
Not really,
It
yeah.
just glossed over everything.
Like, what? Like, as who made this and what do they care about? Like what at the end of the day was the point of that?
They're airport enthusiasts because we saw a lot of interior shots of airports.
That's it. That's all they got.
Yeah,
I can't understand how this movie got this. How this happened.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's think about it from a marketing point of view. We're making a movie where football guys with machine guns invade a prison and bail someone out.
Yeah.
So where do you go from that connection to we're going to make a movie about guys walking through airports and missing phone calls?
Yeah. Well, and also, so I have written down here too. So apparently, this movie was produced by Italian people.
Yes. It's very much an Italian production.
Starring Americans. Starring Americans. Taking place in South America.
Yep.
And also had Asian subtitles on it. So I don't know who this movie is for. I don't know what culture
Who
this
does
is
it
geared
belong
towards.
to?
Who's responsible
Who can
for
we
this?
blame for this?
Why? This movie didn't understand a thing. You know what else I could tell it didn't understand anything? It's because they called this the last match. Like, who calls them football matches?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, this the match is like a, I would say, just the
English people who watch soccer.
Soccer, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Those are like, I don't know. They just fucking didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it strikes me like, maybe one of the most famous Italian productions, Troll 2, kind of has that same thing where they don't quite have the grasp on the English language that maybe they think they do, and no one corrects them.
Yeah.
And then you end up with the title The Last Match.
But I think for this movie, yeah, Fabrizio De Angelis was the name of the director for this.
That name sounds really familiar now that you say it again.
Well, he's made Karate Warriors 1 through 6.
Oh, of course.
Of course. And also, based on that guy's career so far, this movie was made right in the middle of his career. So that leads me to believe that he just doesn't know what he's doing. Or he doesn't care.
Or
See, that's the thing. He probably knows what he's doing. He just doesn't care.
Right, because he could make a really cheap, low-budget movie like this that has most of its budget just stacked at the end and not very well done to begin with. And he's selling it towards the Japanese market or something where they're just looking for these movies in the early 90s, and he makes a lot of money off of it for very little effort. That's my guess.
Zero effort.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions about this, because with all the helicopter footage and stuff, I was like, this movie would seemingly have a budget unless everything is stock footage.
Some of it had to have been.
I don't know what's what. I can't tell.
Yeah, some of it definitely was, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff was definitely stock. But I don't know.
I think any footage that was like plot critical probably wasn't, like where they were landing in the field and there were football players on the helicopters. I don't know if you can go to the stock footage guy and be like, listen, okay, I know you have a lot of helicopter footage, but I need something very specific. Can there be football guys on the outside of the helicopter?
Oh yeah, we got that.
Okay, great.
All right,
Perfect.
yeah.
All
No
right.
problem.
I need at least 3 or 4 shots of that.
Uzis.
Yes.
Ooh. I don't know if we have the Uzi ones.
All right, yeah. Give me a couple of days. Let me talk to my suppliers.
Yeah, I had written down that 32 minutes in and 0 has happened.
Yep.
Yeah, literally nothing.
So typically with movies, with especially B movies and the most of the ones we watch, I'm in for the first 15. I'm usually in. I'm usually okay. Well, I'm doing this thing, and by 30 minutes, I'm digging it. Whatever.
No holds barred, just digging it.
Yeah, I give a movie some time. About 15 minutes into this movie, I wanted to strangle something.
Tom
And
just kept screaming, like, what is happening?
Like, I mean, I know I may have staged this episode a little bit with the tone of voice with my opening, but I mean, I just couldn't stand a frame of this movie.
Oh, it was deplorable.
I know it's not rating time yet.
Yeah.
But I'm a little offended.
The only reason we stuck it out for so long is that I knew for a fact that something was going to happen at like the 57-minute mark, and I was like, okay, normally this wouldn't cut our standards whatsoever, but there was something coming in the future that we needed to wait out for.
Yeah, we did. We put it in the effort to see if the payoff would be there, to see if the payoff was worth it. And we'll let you know later.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of how it was posed to us, from my understanding, that
Yeah.
it was kind of backloaded and just wait for the greatness.
Yeah, we knew this going in, so that's the only reason it managed to get past our quality standards.
And one of the greatness, quote unquote, we'll just cover in favorite parts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, we'll
Unanimous.
get there.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So what else did this movie do incorrectly to make me contemplate suicide?
See, I was going to go into the quality, but then I remember we were talking about how we watched it on YouTube and
Yeah, so
how much can we really dock from it for being terrible quality.
yeah, when we watched it on YouTube, and when we do watch stuff on YouTube, I try and not focus on the actual quality of the movie, because I know a lot of it has to be worse than where it started, and I don't want to base my judgment of the movie purely on that.
Right.
If I'm streaming it. So, I mean, this movie was probably filmed, transferred to tape to computer to YouTube, and then from YouTube streamed to my television. So the compression is outrageous.
There's a lot of steps along the way to lose information.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, I don't want to judge a movie.
Crazy subtitles, too, so who knows where it even came from.
Yeah.
Could have been a bootleg to start.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It could have been even lower quality because of where it came from in the first place. But yeah, I don't want to go too much into that. It wasn't that it was like, I'm sure in its best form, it was just okay.
Yeah.
But
it was so dark.
It made a real argument for day for night shots. I used to rail on those so much, and now I'm like, you know what? They did them for a reason.
Yeah,
like when you're shooting a scene and it's pitch black and all you can see is your main character's white pants as it's like slowly just fading into the distance. That's going?
Yeah. I mean, just the overall quality of this movie. I didn't like the way the football stuff was shot in the beginning. It just wasn't engaging.
It didn't make any sense. It was like freeze frames.
Oh, yeah, for the credits.
Was anything even going on?
Yeah, for the credit.
And then it was just like, oh, the daughter is kidnapped now, and then 40 more minutes of random stuff. Nobody even mentions football ever.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And then...
no one talks about football at all.
Like at all!
Leads me to believe that the people that made this movie don't know anything about football.
That's also a very good point. That's sad.
Like, you're just like, oh, this is a really boring movie about a girl who got framed for smuggling drugs. Nope.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. That is not what it is at all.
So
what segment are we in? Because I have so many bones to pick with this.
We're still
failures.
So, we're still very much in failures.
Yeah, very much so.
I hate that this movie tries to cast them in the light of the victims and like the heroes when this girl gets caught red-handed with drugs in her bag. Granted, she did not put them there, but as far as everyone alive knows, she got caught with drugs.
Right.
She goes to jail. They like stormed this other country and start killing everybody to get her out when by all rights she should be there.
Yeah.
And then as they're leaving, they're like just killing airport security. That's just like doing their fucking job.
Reprehensible.
Yeah, they're just like mowing people down everywhere. I was like, are we supposed to be rooting for them? Because I don't understand. I'm not rooting for them. I think they're all terrible, terrible people.
They may have just started World War III.
Yeah, exactly. So this fucking spoiled little rich bitch could get home. It was,
Yeah.
It's not even framed in such a way that like, oh, all of the guards are corrupt, or it was like a conspiracy to get this girl kidnapped so they could like
sex trader,
or collect a ransom, something to that effect. I was expecting that at some point, and I kept saying things to the effect of like, so there's like a conspiracy here, right? Because otherwise this movie makes no goddamn sense.
We kept trying to shoehorn a conspiracy into it to make it make sense for us.
I was like, that's just how people smuggle drugs, guys. They plant it on somebody else and then they sneak aboard.
Yeah, and then we never saw that guy again.
Yeah, that dude with the sweet dog chain and
yeah, and then
and pink sunglasses.
And then she gets caught, and everyone's like, "Oh man, it's usually a mandatory like 5 to 15 years or something." Sorry. And then everyone's like, "No, I don't accept that because we're American, and she should be able to come home right now." Oh, gosh.
Yep, that was it.
It was so bad.
The movie. It was really bad. Really, really bad.
You know, for an Italian production, they really got the American stereotype down pat.
Right? Oh, it was awful.
You know what else I didn't like about this movie?
What else you got?
No one swore. There was no cursing in this movie.
Well, we heard piss
Not
and
that
bastard.
I can remember.
Nobody was like, fuck you! Like, nobody.
Granted, in the beginning, I was like, I could have dozed off if I had allowed it.
No, there was no cursing. None. This movie had no spine. It was completely jelly.
Yeah, it lacked any kind of gravitas.
Yeah, nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Anything else, guys?
I know we're going to go into it sort of for our favorite parts, but I got to say, the action in this movie had such lazy choreography.
Ugh.
It was just dudes running around with machine guns and then just kind of like waving them back and forth. And like it would just cut to a bunch of dudes falling down.
Yeah.
And like a ridiculous number of dudes. Like 40 dudes would just fall down after like one machine gun spray.
And it's extra unforgivable because it's like there was relatively zero action in this movie. So it's like when it did have the action, you couldn't even get it right when you were doing it.
Yeah.
Completely incompetent.
It's so bad. So bad. It just didn't want to treat its fans. I feel like it was just a torture device.
I was a fan of this movie going into it, like based on the premise alone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
When you
totally.
explained it to me, I was
showed me the
like,
cover art.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is okay. I'm in. I was kind of excited.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
But the thing is, we also discussed that if you made this movie today with the same premise and someone actually knew what they're doing, this would be a fun fucking movie.
Oh, totally.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I want it remade
Yeah,
right now.
We're talking about this movie being remade with like The Rock and Chris Hemsworth and
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
Somebody please, dear Hollywood.
We have a $1 billion idea for you. Most
my
of the
God.
groundwork has already been laid.
I would say everyone loves football now more than ever. So make it now.
As soon as this episode's over, I'm going to tweet every celebrity that I follow and be like, please.
Look at this
somebody
IMDb page
somebody
and now make this.
movie.
Someone redo this, man.
Yeah.
Because it had potential, and that was that was the thing I didn't understand about it. Because while I was hating it, I was simultaneously getting excited about like certain parts. Like the stuff that they did hilarious was just it was so perfect, but there was so little of it. There was like one thing,
Yeah.
and I got really
One.
I got really excited when it happened, and I was like, oh my. And I wanted more, and they didn't give it to me.
Yeah. This
We'll
movie
visit
had
that.
30 seconds of competence.
No, it had 30 seconds of incompetence that worked.
Yeah. Well, I count that. This is a B-movie podcast.
We do cut breaks where we can. So
I'd like to cut the
movie,
brekes on this movie so it dies in a fiery car crash.
I'll give the movie its 20 seconds. All right, we've kind of ripped this movie in pieces, as is. It's probably in a bleeding pile on the ground right now. So let's at least bandage one cut up.
Okay.
So what did this movie do right?
In the parts that were really boring and we didn't care about, the acting was pretty serviceable. They got some names. Ernest Borgnine is very good in this. He's very likable as the team's coach, and I believe him. He's very Ernest Borgnine. He's like smiling with his little gap tooth, and I don't know. He felt like a friendly old grandpa, and I really liked that.
He did. He was very unoffensive.
And it had Charles Napier kind of playing the same role that he did in Rambo 2, where he's kind of like the ineffectual bureaucrat. And I don't know, just the acting in general felt okay for a movie that really had no right to have any decent actors in it.
I think those two guys were okay.
They were pretty good.
I think our main dude, our Cliff quarterback, Johnny Football, not good.
Yeah, pretty
I
stiff.
hated him. I hated him. Sorry, we're on
Yeah.
successes.
As weird as it may sound, for me, a success of this movie was the entire premise. Like, I just wish somebody would remake it into a self-aware action comedy because it could flourish.
Well, I mean, one of my notes in this notebook that I have right in front of me, actually, didn't realize where I was going with that sentence. It just says, putting football players where they don't belong is just inherently hilarious. Like, it writes
It's
itself.
so ridiculous. I wanted it to be amazing, and it had promise,
Yeah.
but it just didn't deliver. So I guess the overall idea is kind of wacky and cool.
Yeah, the treatment on paper, the very first thing that comes from a movie, you get this piece of paper with kind of like, a brief outline. Just what is it?
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like the Mile High overview.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, that's gold.
If you're looking at this movie from the moon, it's awesome because you can't see anything.
But, I'm just thinking, like, every single time it cut to a shot of, like, a bunch of football players hanging on a helicopter or, like, inside of a transport van with machine guns, like, we just blurted out laughing and nothing happened.
Yeah.
This movie could have had all the work done for itself, and they managed to ruin it every single chance they had.
They really did. One of the successes is the fact that they did, when they stormed the prison, put them in their uniforms.
Yes.
Yes.
That was... They did that right. I was like, okay, this movie's already dug itself a giant grave. But some things that will pull it out of the grave are, A, football-themed deaths.
Yeah.
If I can see some football-themed deaths, fine, okay. I'll bear it. And if...
Which it gave us one of, by
we
the way.
got fucking only one. Only one. It was really good. It was really good, but we only got one.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
cheap.
And the other ones was if they stuck them in uniforms for the entire little battle there, it would be okay.
I love how they like got them in an assembly line and were just like handing out like guns and rifles. Just like, all right, you're in your uniforms, take the weapons.
Yeah.
And
I
then
loved
we
the
just-
training montage too.
Training montage. Again,
I put the whole thing in quotes because it's not training nor is it a montage.
They're just shooting silhouettes of aliens.
over and over. With
Over
like,
and
was there
over.
even background music going on?
Yeah, there
There
was.
was.
There was. Ineffective as all the background music. I'm sorry. We're on successes. I'm sorry.
You have to give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
And we owe this movie nothing.
Seriously, is there
No.
any other positive?
The fucking music was a positive.
Oh, I fucking
Some of
hated
the
it.
music was awesome.
It was
Can we drop
awesome.
some into this episode because
I don't think we can do it justice without
the
dropping it
world
in.
needs to
No,
know.
well, because it's only enjoyable
It's so
out of the
bad.
context that it presented itself to us.
It's so bad. It's amazing.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I love it. I drew a
so-
football in my notebook and it looks like a lemon.
Just like this movie.
Womp womp.
Any other successes? Before we skip over risks, because this movie had nothing.
Well, I don't know. I'd say if we got risks, Football Commandos is a pretty risky premise.
Dude,
This entire movie was a risk.
I don't think so. This movie.
don't think so?
I mean,
Actually, you know what? I'm going to agree with you now because that premise should be a slam dunk.
I agree. So, I mean,
Different sport.
if-
It should be a field goal. It should be a touchback. It should be a safety.
No, that football movie's a slam dunk. I love it. No, I don't.
I think if this movie had a budget, that is a risky premise.
What is the budget? I want to know.
I mean,
Like if you were to talk to the big wigs in Hollywood and say, hey, we need $500 million to make this movie about football commandos, they'd throw you out of the window.
well, yeah, they don't even give $500 million to like good directors. I mean, if you were to ask for like $100 million to make this movie, I think someone would give it to you. Like based on if you came in with a treatment and
All right, we're going to put Adam Sandler in it.
in a package. No, they already did that with Longest Yard.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, if they go and they, if you got something, you go, people are going to watch this, man. People will, I swear to God. You pitch it right, someone's going to put money into it. And so
Yeah.
why didn't this movie just, I don't know. It felt like it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't for me.
It wasn't for anybody. Who was this for?
Exactly the problem.
Airport
with this movie.
enthusiasts.
It didn't care about anybody. It didn't know what it was. It was trying to appease to too many things and cultures, and I don't know.
It was just very
Misunderstood.
flatlined.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was just an even keel of no action at all.
Yeah, I was just fucking fuming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be happy.
Risks.
Tom, you're allowed to be mad.
Favorite parts, everybody.
All right.
Football grenade helicopter kick.
Okay. Let's put some context around that.
Does it need it?
Nope.
We've already explained what this movie's about.
All right, so they're escaping the prison with the quarterback's daughter in tow, and there's a helicopter above. Is it shooting at them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the football players opens a duffel bag which has a football inside. He slices the football open, puts a grenade inside, fucking punts the football at the helicopter, and the helicopter explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a hearty cheer for that.
I felt like the entire movie
Was
was
just building
reverse
up-
engineered to fit that in it.
Somebody just thought that would be hilarious, so they made a whole movie just justify showing it.
And then someone along the way, someone took it way too seriously,
Yeah.
and then that came out the other end.
I mean,
It
let's
was-
think about it today. That premise would be a Vine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We'd have 6 seconds for it and go, ha, 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 and then we wouldn't
It
have to
was
sit
the
through an
best
hour and
part
a
of
half
the movie, though.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
hands
the
down.
best part. I was laughing so hard, I
By
was crying. I could not stop. I was like, did that really just happen? Like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life.
But then that also ties back into the failures that we didn't have nearly enough football-related deaths.
None.
We just had the
None.
one.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
it was funny when that guy threw the grenade that one time.
that sloppy
the
ass
first
grenade.
time.
Hey, that one time that guy threw that grenade, that was pretty good, right?
Hey.
No, it's more of a testament to the movie
Yeah.
than it was to your comment.
But you both knew what I was talking
I know
about.
exactly what
and
you're talking
that's
about.
sad.
Oh no!
Because like the first time they do anything in their football gear, and he like throws a grenade and then like hits the
Falls
deck.
over.
Yeah, it wasn't a football move either.
No.
You know,
No, not at
Just
all.
The movie had one, and
Like-
it was the punt, and that was it.
Yeah, he
So
didn't like. I was
cheap.
expecting him to like haul back, like really go for a long pass with that thing.
Yeah,
No.
nobody hiked or
I thought
grenade.
he was going to throw it at somebody too. I
Mm-hmm.
did not expect the outlandish absurdity of punting it at a helicopter.
I know. I don't even know who did that. And even it wasn't our main character. Our main character was a quarterback.
We didn't even know who any of the characters were.
I don't even know what position they played. I know he called the best running back in the world because he got his answering machine. But I don't know who any of these people were, what position they played.
Their
I mean,
names,
come on.
nope.
Nothing. All right. So we've managed to turn every single segment to this into a failure.
Yeah, I mean,
But the weird part is that I didn't like loathe it.
Oh.
Like, I don't know why. I think it's just because I wanted to see it succeed so much, and I still love the idea.
Don't give
so
this
much.
movie underdog cred.
No.
no, it's
like
it's,
it has such potential to be amazing, and it incited hope in me for a small amount of time.
I think this is why I get angry when they remake movies like Total Recall and RoboCop, because you have a perfect premise to remake
Right?
here, and you will make bank on it.
Yeah.
I would
'cause
go see this
failed.
movie. I'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wow. I don't know. The absurdity of it was just a plus for me.
Change the name of the movie.
Oh, yeah,
Very
definitely.
clearly into something fucking awesome.
Oh man, what are some alternate titles? Football Commandos was way better than the last
That's
match.
a pretty good name already.
Gridiron Grudge Match. That's a good one.
That's pretty damn good.
It had match in it still, so you can still call back to the original.
There you go.
There it is.
I like it.
Are we ready to rate it?
Yeah, I think we can rate this.
All right, let's rate it. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking
Fuck
father.
you.
Fuck you.
A fucking fine.
Who's rating first?
I don't know what I'm gonna give it.
All right, you want
So
me
you
to
say
start?
you should go last?
Do you want me to start? Want me to
Yeah.
start? Fuck you! Fuck you! Sorry. That's it.
that's all I got.
This movie failed on every level, and it was fucking terrible, and it was really annoying
Never
to watch.
seen Tom so worked up.
I have watched a lot of stuff, and I can usually just like let it roll off me if it's bad. Like just whatever, This movie managed to hit every annoying button in my body.
Do you think you set the sights too high?
No, my expectations were none. Like
I set Tom up for a bad movie, so
Yeah, I
he
knew-
was prepared.
Exactly. He even said, he's like, oh, no, it's going to take a long time for the payoff, but hopefully the payoff's there. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to deal with this for
All
a
right.
payoff.
Pretty on point Eric impression, by the way.
Thank you. And it's just, the lack of payoff, I think, it just every 2 minutes, I hated it more.
I could see the frustration in your brow.
Yeah, I mean, it's this drained my energy. This sapped life from me, and I don't forgive it. And so, fuck you.
All right.
And I don't give much fuck you either. I
No.
mean, we just watched Penitentiary 3 and Zipper Face, and only one of them got fuck you. Like, Penitentiary 3, I'd watch for the rest of my life. I'd watch There Nearly Wasn't Christmas on Christmas Day
No,
every
don't do that.
year.
But we have to watch the Christmas tree first.
Yeah, well, that's fine. We can do the
good.
Christmas tree after, but I will watch Nearly Wasn't Christmas every day. Then watch this movie.
That's pretty bad.
I know.
Tom's pretty forgiving, so I know he's taking this very seriously.
I am very upset. So who else wants to go?
I think I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Give this a fuck off.
A fuck off?
I give it a
Wow.
fuck off with the caveat. Okay, so the rest of the movie gets a fuck you, but the football commando scene, all 10 minutes of it, I think that alone deserves that part of the movie a fuck off. So if you go on YouTube, you look up Last Match, find like the 57-minute mark and just laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
It works for that. It's not good enough to get a fuck yeah. I wish it was. I so dearly wish it was. But it's only barely salvageable. But man, football grenade, I can't give it a fuck you based on that.
Yes. I know. I want that part to just be in a different movie.
Now,
There's no other movie that could really exist in.
That part is so good, I would actually urge people to just watch
that section.
that part.
Now, Tom, if we had, because I had actually almost considered saying, you know what, there's not going to be anything going on here, but for the fact is we have to review the entire movie. If we had fast-forwarded through the first, 40 minutes or so and then just arrived where we ended up at, do you think it would have given a better rating?
So after I remember we paused it at about 32 minutes, and at that point in my head, this movie earned a fuck you.
Yeah.
By 32 minutes, I had fuck you in my head. I had down first 32 minutes, Act 1, yuck, I hate everyone. So yeah, next.
I'm gonna give this movie a fucking disappointing.
Fucking disappointing.
Because based on Eric's description of it to me, I was really excited. I was like, I'm so on board. And you were even like, it's going to be slow in the beginning, 40 minutes. I was like, I can take it.
Yeah.
And I totally could, although I would not prefer to in the future. But the premise was just hilarious. It could have been amazing in the right hands. So I don't want to give it a fuck you based on, like you said, that one amazing scene and the potential that it would have in more capable hands.
See, if I had watched that awesome scene and then went and watched the rest of the movie, I think I would also still give it a fuck you. Even though that scene is a standalone, because it's a good piece, I'm probably going to make a GIF file from it. I got it. It's going to be fine. But, I don't know. I can't get that time back. And very rarely do I go, well, that movie took my time. I'm like, I'll invest the time in a movie, sure. I can't get my time back from this one, and that does upset me.
Yeah, that does suck.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I know. A couple episodes back when we did Friday the 13th Part 5.
Correct.
We had said something along the lines of, if you're a newbie to bad movies and the worst movie you've ever seen is Friday the 13th Part 5, you haven't seen a bad movie yet.
Yes.
This is the bad movie I see in my head when we talk about that casual B-movie viewer.
All right. Fair enough.
This is like the bar to set for bad.
Yeah, this is I think this is the worst thing we've seen on this podcast so far.
Wait, we watched...
No, I totally agree with Eric.
What?
This is the worst thing I've seen doing
Even
this.
worse than that winter...
Oh,
fucking
In the Dead of Winter
shit
was
pile?
not for this.
yeah, we didn't actually review that, but I would say that's definitely worse.
That was not a
Okay.
second-class cinema thing. And
It almost was.
It almost was.
well, no, we did that, and we watched Doll Man, and we didn't plan on doing an episode on either.
Oh yeah, right. That was New Year's.
Yeah, that was just we were just watching that.
We spent most of it fan casting what we would do for a True Predator sequel.
My God, that's right. We did. We talked about our Predator sequel a lot
yeah.
that day.
No final thoughts
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got nothing on this.
on my part.
Yep, it's over. Don't watch it. That's what Tom says. Don't do it. Go to
No.
our gift catalog at the end of this.
Find it on YouTube and watch 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Don't even watch 10. No, don't.
Stop it.
Don't do 10. It's too long. You're not going to get it back. You've been listening to Second Class Cinema. We watched The Last Match, 1991 football extractment movie. This movie got me dumber.
Help! The last match
Movie
got me dumber.
It got me dumb.
Doctor, I watched last match. Me got dumb now.
It's contagious, and I caught it from this movie.
Movie.
For more information, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. We're on Twitter at 2NDClassPodcast, the number 2, ND Class Podcast. We are on Podbean, secondclasscinema.podbean.com. You can check our new episodes.
Bean.
We got GIFs up there. We're on YouTube. All of our audio is going on YouTube, and soon to come some cool video stuff we're working on. We're excited about it. It's going to be cool. That's it, really, I think. Are we done?
We're done.
All right. It was lovely seeing you guys today.
Freeze frame
Tom, you're mad at me, aren't you?
on a football player.
I'm a little upset.
Thank you, boys. We just won the greatest game of our lives.